No real animals can be found at the zoo in Brainerd, Minnesota. Just fun-loving fans of the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, whose mid-August vacation to Brainerd International Raceway, oh my, brings a culture all its own. You don't just visit the zoo, you live it. Live it with us now. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, welcomes you to a now sunny Brainerd International Raceway, where the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series calls the Lucas Oil Nationals home. You can see the fans have been treated to some good weather finally, but we have had plenty of rain. You saw the big belly flop just a moment ago. That was provided by the 2 days of rain we've had here, but we are ready to go racing here, Lucas Oil Drag Racing style, with the finals here at the Lucas Oil Nationals. Alongside of Bob Fry, I'm Dave Reef. Glad you could join us at home. Lauren Stauffer will join us in just a moment. And Bob, when we start talking about top alcohol dragsters, we've got some point playing cars here. They're going to make the points very interesting today.
First time in a long while that we've gone this far into the season without a real definitive leader in the points. Bill Reichert has pretty much been doing a great job the last couple of years. He's just one of many in the mix that still have a chance to win the Lucas Oil Championship. Points are claimed at national and divisional races, and it's really pretty wide open right now. Some of the drivers that are contending for that championship are going to be here today. A
normal national event, round one, happens on Saturday, and then everything else on Sunday. Not here at Brainerd. It's all going on Sunday. We start with our top alcohol dragster highlights from round number one with the number one qualifier, Brandon Lewis and Dave Harada. This one's a thundering run.
Crushed him. The defending champ rolls in here and starts out of the one spot and goes 5:21, 275, best numbers he's ever run.
More with Brandon Lewis in just a moment, but right now this is Dan Croft out of Nebraska taking on Scott Murray. This one not a thundering run, but a pretty close one.
Yeah, Scott Murray, one of the real veterans here in Division 5, and that one decided right on the starting line. Daniel, a rookie driver, goes out and gets the win and did it by getting off the line first.
Well, let's look at the Lucas Oil ladder for round number two. You will find the number one qualifier picking his lane, as will the champ Bill Reichert and some of the points players we've been talking about right there. On the other side of the ladder, it will be Robin Samsel taking on Daryl Hitchman with lane choice, as will Sean Cowie. Right now, it's time to check in with Lauren Stauffer and that number one qualifier.
For some teams, everything seems to come together all in one weekend. And this weekend for Brandon Lewis and Team Tiger Flow, it is no different. You absolutely have had an amazing weekend with a 5:21, 275 elapsed time. Brandon, how extremely satisfied are you and the long road that it's been?
It's been a super long road. Like I said, we started off the year, with the 94% rule, brand new car built by Joe Munden Race Cars. Just struggled, learning the new tune-up, the new rules, all this stuff, and everything seems to be coming together. Steve Boggs jumped on board with us this year. First race this year with us, first race last year with us. We won our first national event, hoping to repeat. It's the 5:21, 275, not only satisfying for me, satisfying for the team, satisfying for Steve, and satisfying for my dad. It's just amazing.
His dad actually helps him tune the car, but not only is his dad here this weekend, but also the owner of Tiger Flow, both owners. How much pressure does that put on you as a driver?
Not only is Monroe guest here from Tiger Flow, but he's actually was a competition this weekend. He ran with us with another Tiger Flow Wayfield dragster, and Marvin Yoder and Diane Yoder, they were here with us, and having them here is a great support. They're great backing, somebody to lean on whenever you need their help.
He truly does have a great crew, and we look forward to seeing how far he goes yet this weekend here in Brainerd.
And how about a little bit more pressure, Lauren? You got the Lucas Oil race. You've got the Lucas Oil alcohol funny car here. But I don't know if Frank Manzo's feeling all that much pressure. He's killing him again.
Oh, yeah, that pressure is just unbearable on Frank. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle it here this weekend or not. He's the number one guy, and I will say this, the prohibitive favorite going into the race day.
The big question, can anybody stop the ace, Frank Manzo? Well, it didn't happen in round number one. We got proof for you coming up in just a moment. But we start with a pretty big upset as Brian Haug and Scott McVeigh strapped it on in round number one.
There were some wacky races in round number one, not the least of which this one right here. And Scott McVeigh goes the distance, gets the win against a highly touted driver that pretty much figured he had the better race car and looked like he might go on. But look at the numbers right there. Every increment down the racetrack, Scott McVeigh had the better car.
Now we'll move on to Roger Bateman and Bruce Carlson. This one should be a Roger Bateman good moment, but you saw that little extra break in there. He turned on that top light and kind of got spooked.
This is going to go into the list. You saw the explosion there at the end over there for Bruce. Going to go into the records as a really nasty hole shot loss. But the difference was, as you take a look at this coming right across the finish line, you'll see the little burst panel coming out there on the race car. But the difference was that Roger was trying to go in and stage, got himself caught stopped, tried to search for it again. The tree came down and he was beaten.
That was 256 in the near lane, 209 in the far. Now, how low could Frank Manzo go in round number 1? Everybody hold your breath. Oh my goodness, 555, 261. Yeah, the ace is into round number 2. So looking forward to the Lucas Oil ladder here at the Lucas Oil Nationals. You can see Frank Manzo will have a bye in round number 2. In fact, it will be the first car down the track coming up in just a moment. Scott McVeigh will pick his lane. On the other side of the ladder, it will be Mick Snyder and Lance Van Houen who pick their lanes on, finally, beautiful sunshine skies here in Brainerd.
Isn't that nice? I mean, that's just a gorgeous sky up here in Brainerd. It's just been like that all weekend. Well, maybe not all weekend, the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, by the last 10 is exactly right. We asked at the top of the show, can Frank Manzo be stopped? He's certainly not going to be stopped here. The big question is now, with the weather as nice as it is, how low can Frank go?
Frank is the class of the field. We don't normally say that. Normally there are guys in the racetrack that can run with him. I'm taking nothing away from the other drivers here, but a lot of the top 10 guys are waiting until we go back to Maple Grove or Indianapolis. Frank ran a crushing 555 in the opening round, and they give him a freebie here in the second round.
Interesting. The sun is shining a little bit, and usually that can eat up a little elapsed time. Will it here?
A good one.
Oh, 554, 260 miles an hour. And Frank, you've done it again. Wow.
You're really good on that weather stuff, aren't you?
Normally. This is Frank we're talking about here, though.
260 miles an hour. The man is the class of the field. He's having his way with the funny cars again this year, and he is just flawless. And you give him that bye run, 14 cars in the field. So he gets the bye run. He comes off the starting line. That is minimal tire shake for a race car like that. Forrest Lucas loves him. He's given him championship trophies since Forrest came in and sporting the class. And boy, that is a great billboard. That is the quickest Lucas Oil billboard out there outside of the fuel classes. And look, in the bucolic setting there.
Bucolic.
Bucolic.
What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means. Heard the weather guy say that the other day.
Yeah, I know there's a lake on the other side. Does the lake have anything to do with bucolic?
He's going out to try to catch the world's biggest walleye. You know how big the world's biggest walleye is?
No.
22 pounds.
How do you? Yeah, never mind.
I know these things.
He's a wealth of knowledge. That's what we're talking about here. Here is the current weather in Brainerd, Minnesota. As you take a look at the sunshiny skies, 74 beautiful degrees out there. Water grains, track temperature, density, altitude, all those numbers really don't add up to much if you're Frank Manzo.
And 11 ounces. You didn't let me finish.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I thought it was just a tick heavier.
Big fish.
Big fish.
That was the Frank Manzo of the walleye world.
Yeah. Frank Manzo probably could have caught that right at the lake next door as we move now to our next pair. Long smoky burnouts. We love those. That's Mick Snyder in the orange machine. Brian Thiel on the other side as we check in down at the far end with what I hope is a very happy Ace Manzo. Lauren?
Frank Manzo's pretty excited that he just went a little bit faster from the first round. Frank, you mentioned how good the track is. Can you tell us about that?
The track's really too good for the air we have here, and my car is struggling going down through there. Just need to make a little more power and we can run a little better, but right now we're being consistent and hopefully we can just keep going rounds.
The question is, did you leave anything at all on the table for next round?
I don't know. We'll just have to go up there and see. Maybe I don't want to say.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
Earth to other guys in the class. Frank wants to make more power.
Look out.
Because Brian Thiel is a guy that we have seen run in the alcohol classes. We've seen him run fuel funny cars at Indianapolis. He'll be back behind the wheel of the fuel car. Well, a very big upset in the opening round. Got around Clint Thompson, the big hitter from Division 6. And Mick Snyder just did save one. He took on that Butler family team in the opening round. Wayne was very quick off the starting line and just got nudged out by the extra power that Mick's team was able to make.
Brian Thiel almost played collegiate football at Nebraska. In fact, he told me, been doing my best to lose weight to be an alcohol funny car driver. He was almost a linebacker.
Trying to lose weight to be an announcer.
How about this? How about this? Brian tackles Mick Snyder with 565, 251 numbers.
You almost played football. Oh, you were a kicker, right?
Thank you very much.
I just thought I mentioned that. I thought I heard that. Anyway, big time run right there. 565 beats a 565. And again, Brian, very quick out of the starting gate, getting help from the entire Haug family. That's the Olympus trailer. Those are the folks that build him the trailer. You'll see him hauling his fuel cars around next year. Great run right there. Semifinals for the first time in his rookie year.
I almost just kicked you. Yeah, well,
from what I hear, you wouldn't have been able to hit me.
oh, easy now, easy now. Good looks, though, here back at the starting line as we got to change the subject here before it gets too nasty.
Well, you started it.
I did not. Brian, though, picture perfect over there in the right lane. You got to see him kind of swerving around just a little bit. But he hits the stripe first, and that's why he gets the win. Hey, we got more Top Alcohol funny cars on the way, including Lance Van Houten, Bruce Carlson. There might even be a snowmobile here. They have snowmobiles in Minnesota? Well, in the middle of the summer, though, that's the big question. Yeah, there's proof. We'll be right back to Brainerd in just a moment.
The NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world.
Kyle, you can see all the way up underneath that wheel stander.
That is just so cool, isn't it? I remember when I used to drive a wheel. Oh, no, that wasn't me. That was the cool kid down the block who used to beat me up.
Single.
How about Lance Van Houten?
574, 245. Those numbers not important when you consider you're going to the semifinals.
You're going to have a guaranteed first-time finalist here because Brian Thiel is going to run Lance Van Houten. Lance won his first ever round of racing here at Brainerd 20 years ago.
Whoa. Whoa, that's a long, long time ago. About when I was trying to be a kicker. Let's go down with a football player. Stand by with Lauren.
I have to say, it's always pretty exciting when a guy who's new to racing in this class gets out of the car and asks you if he won. How satisfied are you with this?
Oh, it's big. It's, you know, we struggled all last year and part of this year. Brian and Mindy Howe came along, Scott Trimble has turned this thing around. We're pretty excited.
Well, congratulations. We'll see you in the semis.
Said back in his playing days he was about 245 pounds. That's about what, 3 of you, Bob?
Don't make me come over there.
Boy, this is getting ugly, I tell you what. We got another single coming up right now. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, it was a wacky first round. Ken Webster won, but he torched the head gasket and probably hurt some other parts. So how about this? How about your semifinals? Thiel, Van Houten, McVeigh, and Manzo. And I'm not liking his chances of getting lane choice right about now, but you know what? He doesn't care. In uncharted territory, Scott McVeigh got his first round here 2 years ago and now goes into the semifinals against Frank. He'll probably have to tune it up just a tad.
See the NitroPirate.com logo on the side of that car. You can find the Nitro Pirate back in the zoo. We could tell you more about that, but then we're not allowed to go back into the zoo. It gets to be a little crazy. Semifinal matchup go this way. Frank Manzo will pick his lane. 5 seconds is better than 14 by, well, about 9. And on the other side, it will be Brian Thiel. Easy now.
You kickers always work good with math.
Oh, I tell you what, we are having so much fun here in Brainerd. Speaking of the zoo, well, that's just part of it. They say they get more than 30,000 campers over the course of this national event, the Lucas Oil Nationals. You can see there is no shortage of fun going on back there. That's why Bob Fry is not allowed. Well, we mentioned there'd been a lot of rain here in Brainerd. That meant we had plenty of time to go shopping for all things Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series related. Did that back in the Nitro Mall. Get your goods. They're all right here. Here's Lauren.
Lance just ran a good pass, but a little bit slower than last round. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, what we did was we knew he had a bye run, so we thought we'd try something different is what we did. Obviously, we slowed a little bit, so it wasn't the right way to go. But Cantrell Brothers Racing and Kevin Cantrell are the ones that's been really helping us, and they've been doing a good job, and things are just coming together for us really well. And our other sponsors, Jerry Rollings and Iowa Auto Rebuilders, have all stuck with us, and we really appreciate them. But their biggest help has been the Cantrell Brothers. They've really helped us. Obviously, it didn't work what we tried, but it's the time to try it, is then, you know.
It absolutely is during a bye run. We'll see what you can put up against Brian Thiel next round.
Fresh faces. How about it for the Iowa guy, where I was a kicker at Iowa State University? Bob Fry. Hey, if you love your Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, and we know you do because you're watching the show right now, you can check us out next Sunday from Reading, Pennsylvania. The Toyo Tires Nationals from Maple Grove Raceway comes your way from 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Please check us out. And now it's time to check out Top Alcohol Dragster, round number 2. And the Lucas Oil ladder stacks up this way. Brandon Lewis, Justin Davis from the number 1 spot. The number 1 qualifier will pick his lane, as will the champ Bill Reichert coming up in just a little bit. On the other side of the ladder, it will be Robin Samsel picking his lane. And Sean Cowie after that against an up-and-coming racer by the name of Dan Croft, who's done a great job this weekend.
Very good matchups coming up in this round. Bill Reichert and the Rizlone team, I believe, is hitting stride just at the right time of the season. A little sluggish to the start of the year, but when you look at all the points, the number of races that they've competed at, the number of races they can still claim, Bill Reichert's in really good shape. Other guys here are going to give him a battle, including the former Division 5 champion and former JEGS All-Star. As Ed gets set to move his car, that supercharged machine has been running very well. The weather's changed. It's a little bit warmer, and that could play into the hands of the supercharged car. Could.
Pretty even off the starting line, but it's going to be too much of the champ, Bill Reichert, who goes 5:33, 268 miles an hour. Best run of the weekend for the champ.
Look at the nice numbers, too, for Ed. 5:39 with a blown car. You've got nothing to be ashamed of on this track when you just get beat by the champion out there. The Rizlone car, like I said, running very well. He ran 212 miles an hour at half track, did Ed. 10 miles an hour faster did Bill. That's just about a flawless performance here. You can see the numbers on the Lucas Oil board there. 5:33. Let's see if we see anything that goes wrong on this race. And I really don't believe. I mean, all the cylinders lit, minimal tire shake, if any. And I think when he gets out and gets a chance to talk to Lauren, Bill might think that was just about as good as you're going to run right now on this track.
Straight, clean, and narrow. And Bill Reichert, the champ, trying to go, what would this be now, 4 in a row?
He is just, yes, in the championship. But it's a long way from over.
Yes, it is. Boy, it sure turned into a beautiful day. Far cry from where we've been all weekend long. As you can see, the sun beating down. Chances are by the time this thing goes final, we're going to be racing deep into the evening, so we could see some even bigger elapsed times, bigger speeds coming up in just a little bit. That is Justin Davis, Brandon Lewis, the #1 qualifier, coming up in just a moment. But first, let's check in down at the far end with Lauren.
You know, I have Bill Reichert here, and he's getting his helmet off. He just ran a 5:33, but he is neck and neck with Jim Whiteley, who has actually been going racing here all weekend. And Jim has already gotten knocked out. Bill, how satisfied are you with that run, seeing as that you are now really in a heated battle for the National Points Championship?
Well, the win is all we really care about. 5:33 is great. It's good to see the car going fast, but it needs to go faster than that. We've got another car out there running 20s, and we're not running 20s yet, so we need to step this one up a little bit.
Yes, you do. Brandon Lewis, he'll be up next.
Bill always seems to rise to the occasion, though. He seems to run just good enough to beat his opponents, and he's going to make the other guys outrun him. Justin Davis, the supercharged car. Steve and Patty Federlin right there in the Pacific High Reach Team Machine, a guy that comes and runs in Super Comp, runs here also in the Alcohol Dragster. And Brandon Lewis car over there, that's a very solid machine. The Morrison construction team also running with help from Monroe Guest and the Tiger Flow people. When you come in as the #1 guy, then you run career best numbers in the opening round, you'll all of a sudden become the guy to beat.
Kind of curious to see if Justin will kind of press this one up at the tree a little bit, but both drivers very good on the reaction timer. #1 qualifier and the #8 qualifier, round number 2. Well, Justin got away first, but Brandon's going to get there first. 5:28, 272, booming mile an hour.
He ran 228 miles an hour at half track at almost every increment down the quarter mile. He had better arithmetic than we saw from Bill Reichert, and it's been a long while since we've said that about any other fuel-injected nitro car. Very good move. Justin just a tad quicker off the starting line. 5:40, just like Ed right in front of him. I mean, made a good run. Now watch this coming off the starting line. That baby really hooks up. That means he's not spinning the tires. Just carried that front end a little bit, lays it down, and again, little tire shake there, but still not a bad effort.
And perhaps a little smoke at the very end of this run. A drop cylinder coming out of the right side. Perhaps that one could have been even quicker and faster. Watch there on the far side of the car. Well, you almost saw it. Trust me, though, it was there. Into the water box. Here comes Daryl Hitchman and Robin Samsel. And while they back up, we got just enough time to check in with our main man when it comes to tech tips. Dennis Taylor. Take it away, D.
We've talked in the past about the differences between the A-Fuel dragster and the top alcohol dragster, both running in the same class. Well, today we're going to talk about magnetos, why the A-Fuel car runs 2 of these big MSD magnetos and the blown alcohol car only uses 1. With me is Jerry Darian, a crew chief who's run both types of cars. And Jerry, hey, can you give us an idea why this car needs 2 of these magnetos?
The A-Fuel car tries to burn over 25 gallons of nitromethane per minute. And the specific gravity of the nitromethane makes it weigh about 9.5 pounds per gallon. So therefore you need 2 magnetos to burn that amount of fuel. The alcohol car, using the methanol, only weighs about 6 pounds a gallon, and they only burn about 15 gallons. So you only need the 1 magneto to fire the methanol.
So once again, 2 completely different types of cars in the same eliminator bracket. And hey, 2 of these big MSD magnetos, hey, this thing's like running a really small welder here at the racetrack.
And you know, kickers didn't weld either, so that's good information for me as well.
And some of them didn't kick either, from what I've heard.
That'll be enough of you again. Daryl Hitchman in the near lane. That's Robin Samsel over in the far lane. Oh, Hitchman welded him on the tree. That's as far as he's going to go. Oh, then a big puff of smoke out of Robin's car.
That's a funny look at the end of the racetrack. Normally you see them dropping a cylinder and seeing that raw fuel coming out, but that was nasty there for Robin. Only goes 588 at 181 miles an hour. Obviously had some engine problems right there, but he's going to go to the semifinals if indeed they didn't hurt that race car. So you got 3 of the injected cars so far into the semifinals and only 1 supercharged car left. Right off the starting line, Daryl's car didn't turn the tires 1 time, and then down there at the end, I mean, absolutely something broke in that race car. Maybe we'll find out at the end of the racetrack.
Yeah, it looked like it came right out of the bottom end of the racetrack, so we check in with Lauren.
Brandon did run a little bit slower than last round, but definitely seems very satisfied. Brandon, you noticed that something, you felt a little slowdown there at the finish line. Can you tell us exactly what's going on?
Yeah, about 900 foot. 1,100 feet, the car felt like it just kind of nosed over there towards the end. It was pulling really, really hard. It left, kind of wheels up in the air, kind of shaking a little bit. I tugged the brakes, got the front end sat down, and felt like I just put some cylinders out. We're kind of chasing, trying to keep this, keep the car consistent, make it go down the racetrack every pass.
It has been super consistent, and nobody's upset with a 528 for sure.
No, not at all.
Yeah, good stuff right there. Final pair, round number 2, Sean Cowie, Dan Croft. Croft running that Randy Meyer Racing entry out of Nebraska. It's another one of those Midwestern states with a football team.
They don't need kickers. They just keep scoring touchdowns.
This is true. This is true.
You should quit while you're behind, you know?
Now the game just got over. Sorry.
Sean Cowie with that supercharged machine. Dan Croft, we saw him make his debut down at Gainesville, Florida earlier this season. The car's been running very well here during the course of the season. And Randy Meyer, every time he puts somebody in the race car, they're super competitive. And Sean Cowie, who has just dominated at the divisional level, this year at the national level has not been past the 2nd round with a very good race car. So he's got a chance to make a serious bid for the championship, but he's got to be able to solve his woes on the national level.
Especially considering the fact that Bill Reichert has moved on. So if he's going to keep pace with him in this chase for points, this would be a good round to win.
Cowie ran 5:38 in the opening round, about a 1/10 of a second quicker than Daniel did. We saw a couple of the supercharged cars step up this round, even though they lost. So he could run a low 5:30, and he might need that against that Randy Meyer car.
Ooh, cylinder out late almost cost Croft, but he crosses the finish line first. 5:38, 258 miles an hour.
That's going to go in the books as a whole shot win. 2nd straight for Daniel. They run 5:38.7, identical lapse times. 270 miles an hour for Sean Cowie, but off the starting line, Daniel was 600ths better as they went by the Christmas tree, and then the 5:38 numbers down there. And
it's almost as if Sean went deep. He did go deep, turn that top light off, maybe threw himself off a little bit.
Yeah, but the numbers are what they are. 5:38.7 for both of them. And the arithmetic shows that Daniel got the win, and he goes to semis. It's all nitro all the time.
Well, here's how they stack up. The Lucas Oil Nationals for the Top Alcohol Dragster semifinals. Brandon Lewis, the #1 qualifier, will pick his lane over the champ Bill Reichert, while on the other side it will be Daniel Croft with that 5:38 picking his over Robin Samsel, provided of course he can make it back. Alcohol Funny Cars are on the racetrack right now. They're in their semifinals right now. It's been a rainy Lucas Oil Nationals. We're going to soldier on through. Come on back to Brainerd for semifinals. Oh, just a look at some of the many, many lakes here in the Brainerd Lakes area.
I counted them.
How many?
About 80.
You were an accountant.
I'm rounding off.
Good place to come, though, if you're looking for recreation, even away from the racetrack, from boating to hiking, fishing. Of course, if you like it quiet, you can find it usually at the lake, except for the lake that happens to be right next door to Brainerd International Raceway. Top Alcohol Funny Cars semifinal. The ladder's presented by Lucas Oil. Go this way. Frank Manzo picking his lane. Brian Thiel picking his.
A great slogan, Land of 80 Lakes.
Have to consider that one. All right, Scott McVeigh's been living a dream. Will the clock strike midnight? He's racing Frank Manzo. Manzo away first, now the number. 554.9, 261, and now suddenly Frank Manzo is a bracket car.
Yes, indeed. He's been running extremely well, but still got give a little credit to Scott McVeigh and his team, a mechanic who comes out here, races, had a chance to go against Frank. Got a crew chief by the name of Pat Boone, by the way, out there in that Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and he started the day down in the bottom half of the field. You give it a shot. A lot of nasty tire chatter. It was academic because Frank runs 54 over there on the other side of the racetrack, and this has just been another flawless performance. Frank, who stayed away from the race last year because of the schedule with the points race coming up with Maple Grove, Cecil County, Indianapolis, Englishtown points races, actually took the weekend off here, but comes back here at the flagship Lucas Oil event. He's in the money round.
Down at the far end, here's Lauren.
Dan Croft is here with me, but I want to update you quickly on Robin Sansel, who I did try to grab. He actually was having some transmission fluid laying on the ground, but he's going to go back to the pits and try to get it turned around, and we'll see if that happens or not. Dan, I understand you have a 10-race deal with Randy Meyer. You're actually getting towards the end of that. Can you tell me how important, the more and more rounds that you go, how important it is for you to secure additional funding so you can secure this car for later in the competition?
Well, you know, I came out this year and I realized that to go out and look for money was going to be a tough deal. I was very confident in my driving abilities. I still am very confident in my driving abilities. I put my own money up to come out here to show what I can do. I basically bet on myself, and I'm looking to secure some funding to go out and hit more races. I'd love to win my division. I'm very tight in the division. A couple races will probably win the division, I would hope. And you know, I mean, we're ranked nationally, and we're running unlimited races. So I just feel like with a little bit of backing, this car and this team go a long ways.
All right, thank you.
And Dan has done a very good job. Lance Van Houten, Brian Thiel.
Lance getting some help here this weekend from Stephen Cantrell of the Cantrell Brothers fame, and he has also made a good showing here. And Brian, with that race car, you got a lot of unknown names here with a chance to go to final rounds, win some races. Of course, you also got that Manzo guy who just makes life miserable for everybody else.
This one's going to be all Brian. 564, 253 miles an hour, and our matchup set. Thiel giving up about a 10th.
It's a pretty nice run. That is going to be a career best run for Brian at 564, 253 miles an hour. So the Olympus Trailers team machine closes the gap a little bit performance-wise on Frank. If you can pick up a couple of hundreds here and there, that's not bad. Again, the down to Scott McVeigh, to those guys here this weekend. Nice effort. You come out here and you make it into the second round, a chance to maybe run for the monies, but just an excellent run right there. And congratulations to those guys. But it's going to be Frank Manzo and that guy in the money round.
You bet. It's a David versus Goliath matchup as we check in with the Goliath in the class. Ace Manzo down with Lauren.
Frank, they're referring to you as the Goliath in the class. Do you ever feel sometimes like you're running a bracket car, or is it just really not that simple?
That's just a tribute to how good my crew is, and we just try and be consistent. And, you know, if we can run any faster, I don't really know. And I'm just going to keep running, you know, the 54, 55, 57s. And hopefully we can get the winner's circle, put this Lucas, you know, Jake's, Hoosier tires, put in a winner's circle here at the Lucas race. It would be really great.
I have to say, I've spent a lot of time with the guys in the pits, and they really respect you and your crew. And I think that's a really big credit to you, Frank.
Thank you. Thank
you. You indeed. Everybody respects that man right there. Hell, out the top of the car, Brian says, yeah, I'm into the finals.
They miss each other, didn't it?
It happens every now and then. He may have been a kicker. Oh, no, wait. He was the linebacker. That's right. Hey, we're dealing with lots of powerful cars, and got some more powerful races coming your way from Brainerd, the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. This is Dan Croft, scheduled to take on Robin Samsel. We wondered if that boomer was going to be too much. Indeed, it was.
Yeah, you break those driveline parts. It hurts a lot of the internal parts on the race car. Croft goes 537. He sails into his first final round. And again, I give credit to the drivers who showed up, had a good weekend. Robin Samsel looked like he qualified number 2. It's his best qualifying effort. But look at those numbers right there. 5.37 seconds. And that Randy Meyer car, Daniel Croft's going into the championship round.
And there's our Lucas Oil Top Alcohol Dragster ladder. We already know one of our finalists. It's going to be Dan Croft, who we just saw. Next up, though, it's going to be Lewis. It's the Lucas Oil Nationals, and Bill Reichert. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. And they're about to come into the water box right now. That's Reichert in the near lane. Lewis in the far lane. Gotta love side-by-side Smoky Burnouts.
That was a great run and a great look at these two race cars. Brandon Lewis has done something not many guys have done. He's pitching a shutout against Bill Reichert. He's beaten him twice, including at this race, at this juncture. Last year, semifinals, Brandon Lewis took him out and went on to win the race.
Well, imagine if you could watch the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series and the Full Throttle Series in the same day. You can. Tonight we are there at 10 o'clock Eastern. The finals, the Toyo Tires Nationals. Beautiful Maple Grove Raceway in Reading, Pennsylvania. So mark that down and be sure to join us again on ESPN2 tonight.
Classic line. You want to be the man? You got to beat the man. Bill Reichert is the man, and Brandon Lewis has the better race car. He's the #1 qualifier. He has run better than Bill at each juncture so far here during the course of the weekend. Now, the question is, mentally, is he prepared, and how good is that team? Steve Boggs, of course, does a great job. They can see Bill Reichert's team and his crew and his wife and the Rizlone team. Not going to give up that championship without a fight. He's been running better at every round, and it will be a great matchup right here between the young kid from Oklahoma and the great champion Bill Reichert.
Like you said, Reichert could step up just when he needs it.
Just like that.
Exactly. Reichert, pencil him into the final. Pin him into the final. 5:30, 266 mile an hour.
The key is, as I said, Bill Reichert was getting better at each and every round. We saw Brandon slow up just a tad in the last round. Not that that's a real indicator of anything that's going to be troubling, but you come up here, you got the champ in the other lane, you maybe make some adjustments. Track temperature's a little hotter, you go out about 100 feet, you smoke the tires, you got the best seat in the house to watch the Rizlone car go to another final round. Big race here this weekend for Bill.
Lauren Dancroft now know who he faces. He's in the finals for the first time. What's he feeling?
Yes, he is in the finals for the first time, and Dan is definitely no stranger to this track. He actually may not have been to a final in a national event, but he did win a divisional race here in Brainerd. And I wanted to ask you, Dan, what are you guys throwing at the track? Because you're going to have to give Reichert a good show here next round.
Well, I'm going to throw my lights at him first of all, and I'm sure Randy and the team have got plenty of things that they can work with here. We got a great team, and I know that they're going to be doing something up there that's going to help me out tremendously. So I'm looking forward to racing Bill. It's going to be the first time I've ever faced him. I'm bringing my A game, so I'm prepared to go. I'm going to enjoy it a lot.
Looking forward to the finals. Thanks.
Beat Jared Dreer to win that divisional race here. He's also got another final round, so a very good rookie season for that driver.
Here's how it stacks up in the top alcohol dragster final. Bill Reichert will pick his lane. Dancroft says, I'm bringing the A game, so you're not going to want to miss the dragster.
It felt like it left hard and run real good.
The other guy did, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And remember, this guy's got that cagey way of stepping up, and he's been stepping it up all day long. Can he step it up and take out Croft in the final? We'll find out in just a bit. In fact, all the finals coming your way from the Lucas Oil Nationals, Brainerd International.